Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Good evening, good evening. I'm your girl, Suzette Bagneris, and I'm here on WBOK 1230 AM on the reality check with Gerod Stevens. Welcome. It is Friday, and you know what that means. We're here to talk about all of the information and things going down here in New Orleans. Today, we're going to be talking about this ICE activity again and the ramifications that it's having for citizens in New Orleans, for businesses in New Orleans, and even now for our NOPD that's being threatened by our state's attorney general. So, you know, there's a quote from Pastor Martin Niemolier that I want to talk about today, and it's been echoing in my mind as I watch what's happening in our city. He stated, "First they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." So this quote is not just our history, it's a warning. And today it's a mirror. Because right now in New Orleans, ICE is walking down Canal Street in the French Quarter, in the warehouse district, at all the Home Depots, the Lowe's, at schools, demanding IDs, profiling people based on how they look, how they speak, and where they might be from. They're detaining human beings in front of their children. They're frightening families, and they're disrupting our community. Kids aren't going to school. People aren't going to work. They're afraid to leave their homes. Mothers are hiding indoors because they're afraid they might not be able to come back. And let's be honest about it. They're misleading us. They're not targeting criminals. They're not rounding up violent offenders. Now, there may be a few that they've rounded up in the mix. I think I've counted 7 identities of people who had a history of crime that they've picked up. They're profiling people, plain and simple. And some folks watching this are shrugging, saying, well, that's not my problem. But that's exactly how injustice gets a foothold. When we only speak out for people who look like us, live like us, and share our citizenship status, we fail the test of humanity. And eventually, they do come for you. And who's going to be there to back you up? So let me be very clear. I'm not saying you have to be an immigrant to be outraged. You only have to be a person who believes in human dignity. So Mayor LaToya Cantrell said it plainly. This is scary. This is traumatic, and we must stand in solidarity with the residents of our community. That's what she said, and I agree with her on that. So let me say this to our community. Know your rights. Use your voice. Don't be intimidated. Don't let them silence you, because eventually they're coming for everybody that they consider to be a threat to them. Okay? Now, with that, the masked man has walked into the studio. If you're on Facebook Live, I need you to just give me some applause for a moment for holding my composure when the masked man walked in. But are you hiding from ICE, Gerard? Are you hiding?
I just walk into places and go, ICE is here, and watch everybody run. That's my ICE hat.
This is your ICE hat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you better watch they don't pick you up like that.
Without the face part of it, he looks like Elmer Fudd.
I don't even know how I was expected to hold my composure when this walked in. We talking about a serious topic, and this is the kind of stuff I deal with. This is the kind of stuff.
That's why I didn't say anything, because I knew I would mess you up. I said, look at him looking like Ice Elmer.
If people just sat in this studio during the show sometimes and heard the comments made off air and things like that, they would really wonder how I keep it together every Friday.
We wouldn't be on the air.
We probably would not.
No,
we would not be on the air.
We'd be arrested.
But Elmer Fudd has entered the building.
That's Ice Elmer.
Right. In his ICE fleeing garb.
Yeah, I wore that today into one of the stores, and everybody went,
Well, there's a lot of people, I have to say, as I was driving around, people working during their jobs today that are wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if they're wearing them for their protection. I don't know if they're hiding from somebody or they're just cold out there.
Well, honestly, I wear mine for another reason, though, because I don't know if we've really been paying attention to this, but the information came out today that Louisiana is number one for a new strain of flu. And it's not, we might be getting it. It's like we're the leading state for the flu right now. And that's dangerous, very dangerous when you start talking about elderly and newborns. So we need to be paying attention to that too, but we're not. We wear it.
And COVID's back too. My daughter, who's working in the intensive care in Houston, is telling me that they're seeing both flu and COVID coming into the ER right now.
Well, I'm still wearing my mask hat.
Okay, Elma.
Around just so people get used to it. So I might be wearing this the whole day.
You go right ahead and wear it. Yeah, if you're on Facebook Live, you really should log on because it really is something.
I got on my ice hat.
It really is something to see.
Hey, you!
Ice, Elmer.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I walk outside and just go, hey, you!
Oh, that's the racist point right there.
And then they go. That's why I bought this hat. You all right?
Told you all you have to do
We
is
should be asking you, are you all right?
Yeah.
You're the one with the Elmer Fudd hat on.
all you have to do is yell "La Migra."
Huh?
Gone.
And I got the finger point.
Okay, let's see how well that works for you when they randomly pull you over.
No, I'm gonna call you. I'm calling you.
I really do have people calling me though right
Really?
now. I really do. I have businesses who are calling to ask what they can do because their operations are really being impeded. In order to function, they need their workers to show up, and their workers are not showing up. Documented and undocumented, they're not showing up for fear of
nobody
being,
wants to go through that.
intercepted. Exactly. And I'm getting calls from people who were pulled over and who were questioned by ICE and interrogated by ICE. So as we projected last week was going to happen, they don't know the difference between a New Orleanian and somebody who is here illegally. And that is exactly what's happening.
Did you see where they chased the 22-year-old yesterday?
I did. I did see that.
I felt so bad for her. She was like, leave me alone.
Right.
Running into her. But, that was her stepfather that came out.
Yes.
I was glad to hear him take up for her.
Yes, absolutely. I see a lot of people around town who are taking up for people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of videotaping is going on of people being encountered by ICE.
Right. And there
it's
is no law.
Right.
There
You can't
is no
videotape.
law that states that you got to stand 20 to 30 feet back. That is not the law.
That is not the law. So, look, there's a lot of things, but the law that is being weaponized, and I do want to talk about that, is Act 399. So Act 399, as amended just recently in 2025, amended the state's definition of obstruction of justice to include any act intended to hinder, delay, prevent, or otherwise interfere with or thwart federal immigration enforcement efforts. And under the law, individuals, not just police or officials, who knowingly interfere with the civil immigration proceeding, that's the word, proceeding, can be charged with a crime punishable up to 1 year in prison or a fine of $5,000. For interference with official acts of a government agent or employee, penalties include up to 6 months and or a fine of $1,000. The law also mandates that state and local law enforcement agencies and public employees cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. That includes detainer request and makes refusal or non-cooperation potentially a crime, malfeasance in office.
Right.
If it's done with the intent to hinder, delay, or prevent or otherwise interfere with federal immigration enforcement. Now, let's be plain and clear. This law is targeted at our local government officials and our superintendent of NOPD.
So the ACLU took Attorney General Liz Merrill to court, sued her,
And dismissed the lawsuit.
and dismissed it after she clarified some of the verbiage in there and understanding your First Amendment rights. And she had to do that, and they dismissed the suit.
But this law is contrary to federal law. And I don't know if the ACLU raised that issue in their lawsuit. I haven't read their issue as raised in the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just a First Amendment issue that the ACLU was raising. But under federal law, local law enforcement agencies do not have to enforce federal immigration law.
Right.
That's under federal law. And federal law would take precedence over state law in this particular instance.
So the municipality itself has to agree to be working with the ICE folks. And I think that would be Article 287. I think that's what the Kenner folks and the Gretna folks have done, signed up under 287 to be able to work with them.
You have to sign that agreement, though,
Right.
okay? So local agencies do not have a legal obligation to enforce federal immigration law unless they voluntarily choose to do so through a specific federal agreement. Louisiana's Act 399 attempts to force cooperation at the state level, but it does not override federal constitutional principles. The U.S. Supreme Court has already spoken on this. The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly held the federal government cannot commandeer state or local law enforcement to enforce federal law. This is the anti-commandeering document. It's rooted in the 10th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And the key cases that are on this issue are Prince versus the United States is a 1997 case that says states cannot be forced to carry out federal mandates, and Arizona versus the United States is a 2012 case saying immigration enforcement is federal power and states cannot invent their own schemes, meaning local police departments, including NOPD, are on firm ground saying they cannot be forced by the federal government to participate in ICE operations. So this Louisiana Act 399 is a state law trying to force local sheriffs and police departments to cooperate with ICE by criminalizing interference. So there's a serious constitutional issue to be raised on this. I think the ACLU just raised concerns regarding First Amendment grounds, but there are 10th Amendment grounds to challenge this state law in federal court. And I really do hope that they come back to the table and challenge it based upon the 10th Amendment.
Well, let's call the ACLU.
Yeah, I hope they're looking at that. And if not, I hope they're listening, because I do think that they may be able to make that challenge. Well, they certainly can make that challenge. And I think it's an issue that the U.S. Supreme Court definitely needs to take up, as this is occurring throughout the country right now.
So if they wanted to challenge it, why would they pull back?
Well, they pulled back on First Amendment grounds. Okay, they filed on First Amendment grounds. I don't think they filed challenging, asserting the 10th Amendment's prohibition from forcing local law enforcement to enforce federal immigration law. I don't think they made that argument. There is an argument to be made. I hope they do make it, because I think it's a serious, serious issue.
Well, I'm texting Alana right now,
yeah.
seeing if she can.
Did you read the letter that Liz Merrill sent to Kirkpatrick? I mean, it was very pointed. It was written on December the 5th, 2025, and it was a threatening letter, basically insisting that NOPD cooperate with ICE under Act 399.
We got one over at OPSO.
So you got one there too.
So what she was trying to do at that point in time was to tell, if anyone that was locked up at OPSO that may have some challenges with immigration, we are to turn them over to the state for DOC to come get them.
That's not our role.
Nope.
I'm sorry, Liz, you're wrong. You're just dead wrong on that. It is not Louisiana, it is not the responsibility of NOPD to do the federal law enforcement's job. And given the financial constraints that NOPD has right now and the city of New Orleans has right now,
Can't put that on them.
we're not putting our money on that. So where's the money going to come from? Did you send money to NOPD for them to carry out a federal law enforcement
And understand
issue?
something with jailing, when you start talking about those that are locked up, and they may be locked up at OPSO.
Who's paying for that?
Department of Corrections has to pay the federal costs. So for anybody that has seen it before, you usually see state inmates have on the orange jumpsuits.
Right.
Those that are going to be federal and in DOC have on the blue ones. So I think right now we have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 150 to 200 of them.
So
Yeah.
who is paying for that?
The DOC is paying to keep them at OPSO,
Okay, now,
but that's federal.
does that create
It's going to create a problem,
problem.
because we're overcrowded.
Right.
That's number one. Then number two, are the folks that get locked up by ICE? Where's that agreement? Saying, okay, we're going to detain them and keep them locked up for you, but you have to pay to keep them locked up. That's not an agreement yet.
There's no agreement to that. So,
Nope.
I mean, there's a problem. You are taxing an already overly burdened system
Right.
with a responsibility that is not ours.
Mm-hmm.
Local law enforcement is not legally required under the U.S. Constitution to participate in ICE activities. Participation is supposed to be voluntary, and in New Orleans, it is constrained here by budgetary constraints.
Right.
So, I think you're just really taxing a system. And I guess my really overarching problem, too, with this ICE immigration enforcement situation is it's being targeted on Democratic cities and, Democratic cities. And they're saying that with no bones about it. This is a political action.
Yeah, it's political action, especially, I don't know if anybody got a chance to see it today, but there was a press conference. I don't think they carried it live on, I know they didn't on 6. I'm not sure about any other. Mark Morial was there, several different advocacy groups. Helena Moreno spoke, so did J.P. Morrell, and a couple other folks that had the opportunity to talk. I guess yesterday we saw these groups come into the city council and just, wreck it up. They just wrecked the whole city council meeting because they want more done. So I don't know if it was planned that way or not, but it was good to see the folks that we call leadership stand up and say, we're not happy with what we're seeing here with ICE coming into the city and just causing havoc, creating so much distrust amongst law enforcement and the community. They don't know if we're going to be a part of it, NOPD, OPSO, or any other state agency. So folks are staying home. And then you're seeing federal agents chasing 22-year-old girls down the sidewalk, thinking that they're profiling. They are, and that was profiling.
Mm-hmm.
That was not because you saw somebody or you knew who that person was. You're profiling because of the color of their skin.
Absolutely. And cities like New Orleans, Houston, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, cities with large immigrant populations, diverse communities, and local leaders who, are Democrat. Mm-hmm. Cities that overwhelmingly swayed towards the Democratic Party during the presidential election. Those are the cities where the administration is creating fear and sparking political drama and trying to send its message. This is political theater. Yeah. It's not public safety. It's political theater. So, even in Florida yesterday, I saw a news story with a woman who was dragged out of her vehicle because she would not show them her driver's license. Mm-hmm. Then they finally searched her vehicle, saw she is a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. So anyone can become a target of this racial profiling. It's definitely what it is. And, what I'm having a struggle with is Black people overwhelmingly have a problem with racial profiling. Mm-hmm. But we're not saying anything right now for the most part because we're not the group being racially profiled.
Well, there's an article in Black Source Media. I had a chance to read it today. And the article is actually saying that one thing that Black people are certainly happy about, if that's a good word to use in this occasion, is that we're not the focal point.
Right. I actually heard a woman in the store.
At least we're not the persons that they're going after
Right.
this time.
So this lady was standing behind me in the store about 2 hours ago. And she was on the phone with a friend who was saying that they were not going to work because of this situation with ICE. And she responded to the lady, well, I thought you had papers. And the lady told her, I do, but I'm not going because I don't want to be harassed. And she responded and basically said, well, this used to happen to Black people. This is y'all problem. This used to happen to us. Now you know how we feel. Are we happy to see another group being profiled the way we were profiled?
So the word that I used that was not the word that I should have used, relieved.
Relieved. Right.
That's the word. We're relieved that it's not us this time. And I don't know if that makes us sit back, gain our breath here, but then you start hearing folks also say, well, y'all asked for this. This is what you voted for.
Well, I'm going to tell
you got 6 on one hand, and you got a half dozen on the other. Or the kids say 6, 7.
Well, it hit the Bagneris household this week.
What?
And my mother was the one to say, you did it.
Oh.
So I had my housekeeper call me to say, I don't know when I'm going to be back. Okay? I don't know when I'm going to be back. And so my mother had to remind her, you voted for this.
This is what you asked for.
This is what you asked for.
You asked for it.
You know, she was a big Trump supporter. And now all her family members are being targeted.
Yeah. We're going to come back to that article too. The satisfaction, Black people, is there satisfaction about the new panic in America? That's on Black Source Media. If you want to pick it up, y'all. More coming up. We'll take a break here.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets. We've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBLK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow WBLK 1230 now.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree. Start a new one. On your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Hey, this is Norman Sanders with WBOK, letting you know to have a happy holiday.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It's Friday. Yes, indeed. I was thinking, bro, when I was coming over here, the traffic was so bad.
How bad was it?
I mean, it was really bad. You were right on time, though. Thank you. But it was really bad over in Lakeview because they're fixing the street, and then, of course, all the kids getting out of the school over there. But when you get, like, coming down to the Superdome area, it's really bad. I was like, wondering, what's going on? We got to say congratulations to Tulane. They got the championship game
Oh, that's
today.
right.
Championship game today. So congratulations, Tulane. All right, what you say, Chris?
What's going on, G?
What's happening with you?
Oh, man, I can't complain it. Can't complain it.
Did he hang the phone up? Chris, call me back. Ding dong over there. Ding dong over there hung the phone up, bro. Call me back.
Not
Shut
get
up,
rid
Elma.
of somebody. We don't do that.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, yeah, you do. Oh, that's
There
Chris.
you go, Elma.
That's Chris. All right, ice. Chris, he hung the phone up on you. Ding
Vanilla
dong.
Ice hung up.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Ding
You
dong
there?
did that. Mm-hmm.
Ms. Bagneris, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
So wonderful to hear your voice.
Thank you. Thank you. Love being here.
So my 2 cents on the dollar, to one degree, it's unfortunate that the good have to suffer for the bad in this whole, extraction experiment that's going on. The conspiracy theorist in me feels like they're trying to stop a transfer of wealth, as some of these big property owners are kicking the bucket, and a lot of property, large portions of land, old buildings that are coming up for sale. The heirs are not really beholden to the crown or the throne in which they acquired these properties, and also the system that has been created in the relationship between black folks and our Spanish counterparts, and how we help one another in a sense, because there's a great number of black-owned general contracting businesses that are really feeling the pinch right now. They can't even take on jobs, and they're going to some of these other companies that to subcontract work, and they are price gouging. And so I think that this is all for me. I think it's an interesting time, especially with the development that has been greenlit for Jazzland as well, and the development that can take and will be taking place in New Orleans East. I just think it's very interesting.
I think you're on to something. I really do.
Mhm.
And I have to say, too, all of a sudden this week, my neighborhood, which is English Turn on the West Bank, has become church mouse quiet because there is no construction of any new home going on right now. And just a week ago, there were at least 5. Okay? So construction is stopping because they can't get workers to come out. I don't see a lot of lawn care service going on. I don't see a lot of housekeepers coming in and out of the neighborhood. You usually see them driving in the morning while I'm on my way to court or on my way to my office. You don't see that.
Yep.
I'm hearing from a friend who owns a hotel on St. Charles Avenue, and she owns some others in the French Quarter, that she is having to house her staff in her hotel because they fear going home and coming back. That's the only way she can keep her hotel working, is to house them. There are other companies that are struggling because their workforce is not showing up to work. We're hearing from friends in Jefferson Parish that kids are not coming to school. ICE was staging themselves outside of schools to pick up parents when they were picking up their kids from school or bringing their kids to school. I mean, how long are we going to be able to do this? And I think it's interesting that the ICE enforcement action took place during Bayou Classic, but they're going to be gone during Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
They're going to be gone for Sugar Bowl. They're leaving right before Sugar Bowl.
No, I thought you said 90 days.
I thought they said right before Sugar Bowl they'd be gone.
90 days.
Okay, well, I need to check the dates.
So
But-
it's probably going to go on through probably up until Mardi Gras.
So they're not going to impede Mardi Gras.
Because here's the other part to it as well, right? Now, what was being done is an entire labor class is being removed, right?
Right.
Now, I find it very interesting that Home Depot has a free certification program for carpentry. You have a big push in pushing our youth into these trade positions and things of that nature, which is something that a majority of our youth should be pushed in to some degree, because that was the foundation for us for a majority of our ancestors. Even myself, like my father's a sixth generation blacksmith, and I grew up learned shoeing horses with him, and doing forge work and things of that nature. So I have tangible skills that can be transferred, and I'm now a barber, and I teach barbering and run a beauty industry business in New Orleans East as well. I just think all of this stuff is connected. The money has to be followed as well too, because now with the labor gone, who's going to do the work? Look at Oshner, right? Oshner has a project on Jefferson Highway right now with the neurology building, the children's hospital that the construction that they wanted to start, things of that nature, right? Lincoln Beach is supposed to be getting the money that has been sitting for Lincoln Beach is supposed to be utilized. Who's going to do the labor? Where's the labor going to come from? So now is New Orleans East going to have another delay in development and be able to cash in on the growth in property value? Now, is that now going to be delayed? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
New Orleans being a predominantly black city, right?
Here's the other side of that. Is this the time then for Black America to come up economically?
Absolutely.
Sometimes
100%.
in adversity for some, there's opportunity for others. And that might be what we're watching play out right now.
I think if anyone that is black in America and has a skill set, now is your time to step up and be professional and handle each other with professionalism. Like, treat your brother with the respect that is needed. If that brother has a business, right, and it's a give and take. Don't price gouge your people. Take care of your people. Deliver good work. We have been out of practice in doing business with ourselves to the point that I feel like we are willing to tear down each other's business for the sake of trying to go somewhere else. Well, now the somewhere else is being taken away as we speak.
Crisis reshapes markets. It shifts labor, it redirects resources, and it exposes opportunity. So for people who have a desire to work, a desire to get a trade, a desire to start a business, people who have vision, discipline, and integrity, it's time where you might be able to step into those gaps. Now, that's not to say we want to exploit another people's pain, but by offering value and creating our own businesses and getting ourselves prepared to enter the workforce, this may be an opportunity to seize the moment.
But why not exploit it? But we get exploited all the time. We have exploitation when it comes to our communities. Whenever there's a tragedy, we end up with words that come about like gentrification, because I want to sell your property because it's not worth anything anymore, and you don't have the money to rebuild when a tragedy comes. We still, not us, but I'm saying all of our culture gets stolen. You see these guys during Mardi Gras looking at these folks that work from 365 days a year to sew a Mardi Gras suit, and then they take pictures of it and sell it in a book, and they don't get not $1 from it. We see all the culture as far as music is concerned, and then when it sounds like something that we would do and it's not one of us, they come up with new terminology and call it blue-eyed soul.
Look, we have been exploited historically,
right.
And so, I don't know if we want to phrase it that way, but certainly, when a city experiences an immigration crackdown, several industries take an immediate hit, right? And a labor force opens up.
Mm-hmm.
So here, that would be construction, roofing, carpentry, landscaping, housekeeping, food service, elder care, child care, transportation.
We also have to put in some type of perspective, and I'm going to throw this one at Chris too.
Yeah,
is that we're also talking about a labor force that takes on these jobs that we have said unilaterally that they end up doing jobs that we don't want to do.
But maybe it's time for us to do them. And look, even if you don't want to do it, maybe you can form the business that does it and employ other people who are willing to do the job. But
let me add this, if I may, right? About and I'm gonna go back to what you said, Ms. Bagneris, about the discipline, and I forgot the other one you had said, discipline and
integrity.
Integrity, right? But then there's also accountability as well, and then also too the maturity, right?
Right.
And I think if we can put those together, the maturity to be like, okay, look, it's not what I want to do, but at the end of the day, bills need to be paid. Right? Accountability on the sense of, hey, like you are being held accountable for your actions, meaning that, hey, there are jobs out here that need to be taken up by us.
Yeah. I mean, that was just industries, that just come to the mind immediately that I know are predominantly Hispanic here in New Orleans right now, or have a large number of Hispanic people working in those jobs right now. But this might be our opportunity to form labor cooperatives and train workers in trades and get people, particularly like you say, Home Depot has free certifications right now. We may be able to fill these voids, and, owners and people who are building things like the new Bayou Phoenix, maybe they should consider training and employing Black, partnering with a Delgado who can offer trade certificates to our people to work on our project.
Right.
Maybe that's where this needs to go.
I think it can be done just from the community itself. I understand the partnership aspect of it, but I think the moment we insert someone like a Delgado, or any party that is going to quote unquote oversee the training, right? Like the one who pays has the say as it goes.
And you bring credibility to it.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, we should just be able to, for instance, right, at the age of 16, right, which is part of our problem with our youth, right, that get into, their sophomore, junior year of high school, 16 years old, not much direction, not being pushed to understand the value in work, right? And that work is a transferable skill. The ability to get up and go to work is a transferable.
But Chris, you got to remember something. And that was, this is a great idea. Don't get me wrong, but this ain't nothing new.
No.
They did this here
it's
before.
not.
Booker T and
It's not nothing new.
right, but I mean, this was in the school system here prior to. We just need to bring it back to the school system again, and then by the time they graduate, they got their certifications.
Yeah, but we don't have the time.
Yes.
We're on a clock right now,
Yep.
while all this immigration enforcement is taking place, while this opportunity is being created, we need to go get these certifications now.
Yeah.
We need to start these businesses now.
Process.
Right.
A fast track process. Totally
Fast
agree.
track. And maybe our city council can help us with the fast track process. And for people who have the entrepreneurial spirit, now would be a great time to open a convenience store, a nail salon, a gas station, a cleaning company, a lawn care company, a small construction firm, a food service business, maybe a cooperative that provides employees 2 hotels and 2 restaurants. Though it's a great time to start businesses like that right now.
But let's also hope that we're not next.
Well, I keep saying this, and I have a habit of coming on to this radio station and warning you of things that are to come. And lo and behold, y'all call in, you're attacking the messenger, you're saying I'm wrong, and give it a year, and it happens. Okay? I talked about Project 2025 for 2 years before it happened. And I talked about what was happening in city government for a year before it happened. And so now I'm telling y'all, we are next. Make no mistake about it, okay? The Project 2025 agenda was very clear. They want the future of America to be white, okay?
That's correct.
And they're not looking to, trying to take all civil liberties away from minorities, and they want us to stop being able to protest and fight them, and day by day, the opportunity to do that is leaving. We are next. Make no mistake about it.
We next. So, Chris, we got to take our break, man.
Thank y'all.
I appreciate you talking to you, boss.
Always.
I see you in lockup. All right, more coming up. You got it.
Bagnadamus. You're right. I wish I wasn't right, Brandon.
All right, we got more coming up, y'all. Hold on.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
This is Dr. Jaquil Ross, the host for Talk That, NOLA Education, brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. On Talk That, we focus on the amazing work of educators and students happening inside and around public schools in New Orleans. Our school community is full of so much talent and promise, so let's talk about it. This month, we'll be joined by Dana Peterson and Christy Ivy to learn about the academic gains in New Orleans public schools that have resulted in the district earning a B letter grade. Also, we'll hear from Kathleen Harris, Dr. Sheila Guidry, and Dr. Candace Robertson talk about how NSNO and NOLA public schools are supporting a growing English language learner population in our schools. Following that, we'll have a conversation with Claire Jekyllin, Harold Jaluk, and Terrence Payne from the New Orleans Career Center to learn about their programming for our youth. So tune in for Talk That, NOLA Education, every Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m. To learn more about NSNO9 programs, visit newschoolsneworleans.org.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Every year, the lights return to City Park, and as if by magic, so do we. Families reunited, kids wide-eyed, old memories meeting new ones. Celebration in the Oaks is more than a holiday tradition. It is where New Orleans comes together to shine. Don't miss the magic. Make Celebration in the Oaks your holiday tradition and help City Park shine for generations to come. Go to celebrationintheoaks.com and grab your tickets before they're gone.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Hi, this is DJ Wick, production manager and the host of the Throwback Throwdown in the Love Zone, wishing you and yours a very happy holiday season.
When you talk, we listen. WBOK. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Friday in the building, having some conversation with you. She's here, the extraordinary one, Attorney Suzette Bagnaris. And, of course, we got Miss Jones.
Yes. Good afternoon to everybody.
How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Interesting talk, conversation. Everybody and his mama should be listening to WBOK right now. Turn their television off. This is nothing but a whole lot of junk. After junk after junk. Okay, with these IDs, everybody should make sure you have your IDs in copies, more than one. Because if they nab those IDs and birth certificates, some people may not have a chance to even get a second copy.
I'm holding my passport card in my hand right now. I just showed it to Gerod. I have a passport card in my wallet because of this.
Right.
And I was followed for a mile today in Algiers going into Gretna by ICE.
Wow. This is recipe for self-destruction of North America. That's what it is. It's been the plan many years ago. The history that we learned. I'll tell you about it when I contact you. It's in the history books that they've probably torn. And then everybody should be prepared medically with your prescribed medicine, non-prescriptive, first aid, enough food, non-perishable food, gas in your tank of your car, warm clothing. I don't care if it gets to be in 101 degrees here in the middle of July. Have some clothes that you could wear in Alaska, that you wear in Alaska to wear here, because we never know. It's really terrible, terrible times.
It is, and it's going to get worse. I mean, I keep saying this. Project 2025 is a blueprint created by the Heritage Foundation and over 100 conservative organizations, and it's designed to remake the federal government, to dismantle civil rights protections, and to reshape American society in a way that favors a specific cultural identity, and that's white, Christian, conservative, patriarchal America. This is not speculation. It's plainly written in the Project 2025 policy goals, the staffing plan, and the governing framework. I've been talking about this now for 3 years to y'all. Project 2025 proposes ending birthright citizenship, ending asylum for most migrants, mass deportations, which we're seeing right now, severe restrictions on legal immigration, ending visa programs benefiting Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, and Asia.
And don't think, Ms. Jones, don't think that the folks that wrote the policies for Project 2025 are just up in D.C.
They're here.
They're here.
They're here. I know some of them who helped to write it. Okay, and they're also ending refugee programs. They're expanding ICE and Border Patrol. They want to use local police as immigration agents. All of that is written in the Project 2025 document. So they wrote it 3 years ago. They're implementing it now. So, this is to try to make America white again.
What about
Not
the man
great again,
who's
white
already
again.
here, the redskin?
What
Where
was
did
that
they leave
again?
him?
Say that again.
What they call Indians, and I think their real name were Arawaks, and I might be mistaken. Those folks that were already here.
They were already here, and now, they're trying to displace them from the land that they once owned. Okay? All of Texas used to be part of Mexico.
Exactly. That's why you have a New Mexico, because you have an Old Mexico.
Exactly. Okay? So let's not make any mistake about it. They are trying to get rid of any system that protected Black, brown, immigrant, and LGBTQ Americans. That is the entire focus of Project 2025. And while they're doing that, they're defunding the DOJ Civil Rights Division. They're weakening the Voting Rights Act. They're ending DEI policies nationwide. They're eliminating protections for marginalized communities. They're restricting affirmative action principles across the country, and they're limiting federal oversight of police departments. All of this is measures to make America white again.
And let me say again, I'm throwing this hint out here because I hope somebody does the research. Don't think they in D.C.
Oh.
The people that wrote the policies, they're here.
They're here, and some of them, I know very well, one of them just got appointed to a transition team. For one of the people who just got elected.
For a rude awakening.
Yep.
After all it's said and done, I used to listen to some ministers like in the wee hours of the morning, not the ones that preach, give me your tithe and you get a Cadillac or a Lincoln or something like that, but wee hours of the morning. They were on radio and TV, well, radio mostly, and he was talking about Americans and their rights and the things that they had planned.
Well,
the things that we end up making.
I hope y'all keep your eyes open because, it's authoritarian. I can't say it right. Authoritarian control to protect a white minority from a diverse majority.
But
that's what's going on.
It might be in for a big surprise. Man proposes and God disposes. That's what I always say. Yeah. You could plot and plan.
All right.
All that you want. But, Suzette, I left a note. Give me a call.
I sure will.
Daughter, I think you and your husband went to school together.
Okay, where'd you leave my notes? So I'm going to check for it.
I left it with, whoever answered the phone. I don't know, but give me a call this evening.
Oh, with Wick.
Yeah, hold on, Ms. Jones.
Hold on. Wick's going to get it for me again, and I'm going to give you a call as soon as we get off the air.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Kevin.
Hey, man, thank y'all for having this conversation. I know this is not being had nowhere else, so you guys are it. If it's not with y'all, it's not getting said or done. I just want to say this. Look, my conversation is always the same, okay? This is about teamwork. If you don't realize this after 400 years of them having teamwork against us, primarily us and American Indians and the Japanese and I guess the Irish and everybody else that was considered a other in America. Okay, so this is not just about black; it's primarily about black because it's a racist, white supremacist country. Okay, so but that's not even the point. That is what it is, okay? The question is this. Well, first of all, what made me call was the other gentleman who left the air now was telling us, look, okay, we talking about getting training and certification from these other institutions, but no one takes, and I'm paraphrasing, no one takes care of you like you. Look, when we could be training, and this is what I say all the time, we should be training our own community because we're the only ones who control the narrative, when we train our community. When they're trying to erase our history, they can't erase the history of a people who teaching their own history every day on a good day. Okay? You had 400 years of abuse. So the bottom line is, you know what from whence that came, and it's never changed. It's never changed. And we're talking about, oh, they're coming to get us. Look, when have they stopped coming to? They have never stopped coming to get us. They just wiped out how many federal jobs that black folks have fought and died to get for generations. And we're talking about at the highest level, admirals and stuff like that. They're not coming to get us. They never stop.
All right, Kel, we gotta cut it short.
Okay. All
Playing
right,
the music on. Thank you, brother. More coming up, y'all. We got news next, right here on WBOK.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Republican Matt Van Epps wins a closely watched House special election in Tennessee, defeating Democrat Afton Bain. Bain addressed supporters after conceding the race.
Tonight is not the final result of what we wanted, but it is the beginning of something so powerful in Tennessee and across the South.
Trump endorsed Van Epps after recent Democratic wins elsewhere. Former President Barack Obama says Chicago's Obama Presidential Center will open next June in Jackson Park. The $800 million project includes a museum tower, library, gardens, and athletic spaces after years of delays and legal challenges. And fans are mourning the loss of a Palm Beach County, Florida rapper. Boca Raton police announced Monday poor Stacy died Saturday after an incident, but no details were released. TMZ reports he suffered a medical emergency at a hotel. He was 26. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks. You're going to be all right. You really are. You're going to be all right. You really are. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, boy. The conversation off mic.
It is. But I just want to say this. So we're seeing a bunch of stories now because they're trying to change the narrative. And they're trying to say that this ICE immigration, Catahoula, whatever they want to call it, which happens to be a dog, by the way.
Yep.
I think it's very disrespectful that they named the operation Catahoula Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's behind a dog. So what are you saying? You're hunting down dogs? But at any rate, they're trying to spin the narrative and they're trying to say that they're arresting criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So their target is 5,000 people. They're not saying how many people they've already arrested, but they've only released the names of 7 people.
6
people with a criminal record. 6. So you've picked up all of these people and you only found 6 with a criminal record?
Something you made a interesting comment about, and one of them was about had weed.
Yeah, one of the guys, and they've released his name, so I will too, Jose Raul Lopez Serrano. He's from Honduras. He was convicted of marijuana possession.
And in the city
and
of New
disturbing
Orleans,
the peace.
And remember something in the city of New Orleans, when you're talking about weed possession, if you're a citizen here, you get a summons.
Right. So they're trying to spin this narrative and saying they're picking up dangerous criminals. Okay? Marijuana possession and disturbing the peace. Another one of these guys they picked up and they released his name. I'm going to give you his name. He was in a domestic situation. Now, who's to say whether it was really a domestic situation or whether his baby mama got mad at him and called the police.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was arrested on Carlos Roberto Guardo Ramirez, also from Honduras, arrest for simple battery, domestic abuse, child endangerment, resisting an officer, and DUI. Okay, those are his arrests. All of that might have stemmed from one incident with his partner.
Right. They could have just loaded him up with charges.
They could have just loaded him up with charges that day. You have another one, Vietnamese, arrested. I mean, it's 6 people that they've listed and identified with a criminal record out of all of these people they've rounded up.
Catahoula.
Right.
So I don't think that a lot of folks.
The official state dog.
Because the official state dog, Catahoula. Since 1979, did you know that the Catahoula leopard dog was the official Louisiana state dog?
And that's what they named this operation.
Yeah.
Catahoula Crunch.
Yeah.
So are you trying to say
Getting you dogs.
that these minority people that you are rounding up are dogs?
Yep.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Liz Merrill, Attorney General, Jeff Landry?
Because
Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I didn't understand what, Catahoula was. I thought it was just a part of the, the culture as far as Louisiana is concerned until I just went and looked it up. I had to look it up because I was like, what is a Catahoula?
Right.
And if you look in the dictionary under Catahoula, you find a couple of different meanings behind it. But the one that sticks out the most is that a Catahoula is the official state dog of Louisiana. And it has been since 1979. And I was like, man, I know somebody. Nobody has brought that to the table yet.
Right. And let me just bring it full circle for you.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout history, dominant groups have compared oppressed groups to animals to justify slavery, brutality, inequality, denial of human rights, and police violence. Here in America, African Americans were called dogs. Okay? So I just need you to be clear.
Mark Morial said something very clear today, and I thought it was, and the way that he preferenced it during this press conference they had at City Council chambers today, I could appreciate how he preferenced it because he wasn't pulling the coattail of folks and saying racism, racism, racism. He said, when I came up, we were segregated in the city of New Orleans. And these guys running around with masks on, it reminds me of the Ku Klux Klan. I'm not saying that they are, but it reminds me of the Ku Klux Klan because of segregation that I had to go through when I was coming up. This is a outfit where you have to where you're terrorizing people. And said, and anybody knows anything about masking is people here in the city of New Orleans. Mardi Gras. We know what COVID did, but if you're going to put on a mask here, you need to be talking about you're not trying to catch nothing.
Look, I got to tell you, I mean, I literally was followed for a mile today.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I was afraid of what was going to happen next. What was going to happen if they decided that they wanted to pull me over and ask me about my citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
It recently happened to my future son-in-law in Houston. He was pulled over and asked, how long he had been in Houston, why he was in Houston, all of this. And he is a U.S. citizen. He's a black man. So they are pulling over American citizens and detaining them. It's racial profiling. They're not pulling over white people. Whenever you're targeting people because of how they look or how they talk, based upon race, it's racial profiling.
Mm-hmm. Well, what scares me about this whole situation is the fact that we have been a city that has controlled and talked about, studied, had professors from other places to come through here and talk to us about our murder rate and how this happens. And then what was coming out of that study was the fact that we had so many folks that was acting retaliatory. So I'm thinking to myself, did that mindset go away with some of these young kids? Because I'm telling you, they're going to mess with some of these little young kids around here, and these young kids is packing. They packing. Somebody going to walk up to a vehicle with a mask on, and next thing you know, they're going to end up being a victim of something.
Absolutely.
Because these kids ain't playing and they packing. And I don't want that to start because then it's going to escalate.
Oh, it's going to be civil unrest then.
Yep.
Then we're going to have all-out civil unrest on our streets. I was watching a video of the ICE patrol rolling down Canal Street and just stopping people along the street. We have a military occupation of our city going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is impacting our way of life, whether we want to admit it or not. Some more than others.
Yeah.
But, it's really scary. I also had a friend call me this week because her husband is being threatened with deportation.
Really?
I mean, it's just, and he's a U.S.-born citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, it's really scary right now. It's scary times. And you're right. Maybe our young people are so far away from seeing the Klan.
Right.
And seeing those kinds of rallies and seeing them masked and how the masks were used to hide their faces
And
while
the
they were.
aggression that's being shown.
Yes, it's very reminiscent of that. And fear suppresses resistance. Fear disrupts communities. Fear keeps people indoors, silent and compliant. But here's the other truth: your clarity in naming the trauma is the first step in resisting it. So communities still need to protect one another, and information is power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're trying to do here. That's why what we try to do every week here.
Right.
Last week I talked about, or 2 weeks ago I talked about the fact that you do not have to open your door for these ICE agents. You do not have to speak to them. Even though you're not a U.S. citizen, you still have a Fifth Amendment right. The Fifth Amendment applies to citizens and non-citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell them that I wish to speak to an attorney and say nothing else. You don't have to speak to them.
But do they listen? That's if the cameras are not rolling, and then it's too obvious to me that they don't want you filming them, because they're running up on you like they're gonna put some zip ties on you, like they did the guy at the Home Depot, and I'm thinking to myself, because he's filming. What you hiding?
They're hiding their faces. They don't want to be seen. And one of the videos I saw today, as a matter of fact, it's the video with the young woman running to her home.
Mm-hmm.
The stepfather is screaming to someone else off camera, and they're using Hispanics to come after Hispanics. Did you hear him say that?
Mm-mm.
He one of the ICE agents himself was Hispanic.
So they're using Hispanics to come after Hispanics.
Exactly.
So one of the things we have not put in place with this whole scenario is the recruitment of ICE agents. Did you hear about the recruitment?
No, I did not.
The recruitment, they're going to give you a signing bonus of $40,000. Then the other part of it is they are not really vetting the guys that they're hiring. So you could have a record. You could be a white supremacist.
So you could be a criminal hunting a criminal.
There you go.
A criminal hunting somebody who you think is a criminal that's not a criminal.
So at some point, somebody needs to really say that there's going to be something bad that's going to happen.
Look, this is what happens when we normalize racial profiling, random stops, checkpoints, and ID demands. This is what happens when agencies operate without transparency, in masks, with no oversight and no accountability. And this is what happens when the public is told, if you challenge us, you can be arrested. There are people who are being detained who have done nothing wrong. And if citizens aren't safe from unlawful detention, harassment, and searches, imagine what is happening to immigrants and anyone who they think they should be hunting. This is why people are afraid.
You think that we're going to be next?
I really do. I really, it's very clear. If you read Project 2025 and its agenda, it does not stop at Hispanics. And if you look at what's happening across the country, they're very clear. They're targeting people from the Caribbean. They're targeting people from Haiti. They're targeting people, which is the Caribbean. They're targeting those people. They're definitely going to come for African Americans, and they've been slowly chipping away at our liberties. They're trying to affect us economically, getting rid of DEI. I mean, we are next.
I don't know when we're going to stand up. So let me go to California for a minute. When they did the same thing out in California, And they went into, I don't know exactly what village, a little area of, I think it was outside of San Diego. And those folks stood up and had them backing up, had ICE backing up. Don't come in our community messing with these folks. And they started protesting in the street, but they were also pushing them back. So they had to leave and get up out of there.
Right. But now we're being threatened by our attorney general, someone who's supposed to serve the citizens of New Orleans and the citizens of the state, that if we protect ourselves, if we do anything that seems to hinder, that's a broad word, hinder the immigration enforcement, that we can be subjected to fines and jail time.
All right, here go Tyrone Hughes. What you say, T?
Did he put? What did he put up there?
He did, he did, bro. He did. That's what he looking at me grinning right now.
I said Gerard gonna love that one.
I did. I had to pause for a minute. That's why I was like, oh Lord, I know
hey,
what that is.
I got a question though.
What's that?
Okay, so let's say they're obviously most of these people, from what I'm understanding, are legal citizens. So is there any lawsuits that can be filed for them detaining you illegally?
Well, I think they're going to claim governmental immunity, but governmental immunity is not an absolute. There are challenges that can be made to governmental immunity and the reasonableness of the detention and the reasonableness of the search. And I think it's very clear here that there's racial profiling involved. So, yes, I think there will be lawsuits that emerge out of this at some point. But who are you going to file with? Because they're also getting rid of the agencies that would have filed that for you. The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, which is responsible for enforcing civil rights, has been targeted by Project 2025. The EEOC has been targeted by Project 2025. The Office for Civil Rights at Education and Health and Human Services has been targeted by Project 2025. So a lot of the agencies that we would rely upon to file these kinds of suits, they're no more. So they're gutting your ability to sue them for these kinds of issues.
So then as a human being, if my rights are being violated and I have no recourse to do something about it later, then should we start picking up arms and do something about it ahead of time?
All of the agencies that are meant to protect us have been weakened, defunded, or redirected away from discrimination cases. And you know what always amazes me, and every day I wake up thinking this, if this were happening in another country, this kind of use of military force against its own people, and if we had a different administration in office, we would be declaring that they are committing civil rights, human rights indignities, and we would be sending our military over there to right the ship.
But when you are the ship.
Who's coming?
Right.
So that's the thing. If this were happening, let's say in the Middle East, and the military was being turned on its own people, typically a U.S. presidential administration, along with the UN, would go into that region with their military to protect those people. Who is coming to protect us?
The only ones that I see doing anything other than the ACLU is Urban League. And they can only do so much. I know Mark came here, and he's speaking out on it today because he was on the city council's 12 o'clock press conference, and he was there today speaking out on it. But you can hear the appalledness, but being appalled don't make it right.
Right.
So that's all we got.
That's all we got, and it's really sad.
So then, if that's the case, what about the citizens themselves arming themselves? Because in Louisiana and New Orleans, you got a right to carry. Everybody get together and do a peaceful protest with their arms.
I can't tell nobody by law, to arm themselves against a federal agency that's law enforcement. Because if you get hurt, then you repeat, well, Gerod told me to do that, or Suzette told me to do that. Then we're liable for it.
I think we're all wise to be prepared.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you. Be prepared.
Because I also understand something, Tyrone. They got guns too.
Yeah. But people keep saying to us on this station that this is not a black problem. But 30% of black immigrants are undocumented or in mixed status households. And ICE routinely misidentifies black citizens and detains them. And immigration enforcement expands policing in predominantly black neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So, and this is all written in Project 2025. So, this means more stops, more racial profiling, more potential for conflict with police, which we know doesn't go well for black people. More wrongful detentions in black U.S. cities who don't look American enough to the officers stopping them. So we're already seeing signs of this, and we're in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot. Yeah. I mean, there's no way to deny that. When you couple that with everything else that's being hit for black families, taking away funding from HBCUs, the voter registration issues, the cuts to social safety network programs like SNAP and Medicaid, cutting welfare, housing benefits, eliminating diversity programs. I mean, black Americans are being disproportionately impacted.
I'm a weakie before I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happening.
All right, D.
All right, thank
you, my brother. Appreciate you. We got to take a break here, but before I go, I want to make sure I promote this. Tomorrow night, I want to see y'all. We're going to be at the Sheraton tomorrow night. The Johnny Jackson Foundation is having its annual Christmas party. I hosted it last year, and baby, we cut up, and it was packed. It was packed. It's going to be packed again, so y'all need to come on out. It's a walk down memory lane. It starts tomorrow at 6 o'clock, goes up until 10 at the Sheraton in the Napoleon Room on the 3rd floor at 500 Canal Street. Make sure you come out to who's going to be there, and you can get some tickets. You can call 214-882-6248. So come on out. It's for a good cause. And we're going to have some fun. So I'll see y'all tomorrow night. More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by FidelityWealthManagement.com. Sports franchise valuations are skyrocketing and garnering a lot of attention from investors. Nicole Pullen-Ross is one of the highest-ranking black women on Wall Street, and she's head of sports and entertainment solutions at Goldman Sachs. And she spoke to Bloomberg about the different investors she works with in sports.
Some of our clients who are long-term investors in the space have been investing as a private family for generations. And those families have really leaned in mostly around passion. And we're seeing them look not only to the sport that they may have started with, but look at multiple sports, potentially in a same city or potentially across the world. And we see new investors who are trying to put a toe in the water.
A lot of these new investors are coming from private equity. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
On the golf tee, it's Skechers World Champions Cup. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. It's PGA Champions Tour golfers from all over the world. Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team International. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. The competition will be tense, but feet will be comfy. Tune in to Skechers World Champions Cup. Final round of golf on Sunday, December 7th on ABC, 1 to 5 p.m.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
In recent days, a growing number of people in the New Orleans area have expressed deep concern over the presence of ICE and Border Patrol agents executing immigration raids while wearing face masks and concealing their identities. This is not just unusual, it is unsettling and for many, downright frightening. Mayor-elect Helena Moreno and New Orleans Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick echoed these public concerns, calling attention to what they describe as a troubling pattern of conduct by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency in other American cities. They worry that the practice of covering faces and wearing unmarked uniforms during raids raises serious safety and constitutional issues. And they're right. We live in a state where residents are legally allowed to carry concealed firearms without a permit. So, just imagine the potential confusion and danger when a masked, unidentified person approaches a citizen, grabs them, or attempts to detain them without any visible indication of legal authority. That's right. In a moment of misunderstanding or fear, tragedy can happen before anyone can realize what's taking place. No, this is not about whether immigration laws should be enforced. It's about how they are enforced and whether the people in the New Orleans area can trust that the individuals confronting them are legitimate officers operating within legal boundaries and respecting everyone's rights. Mayor-elect Moreno has pledged to use every tool at her disposal to protect residents, including connecting people with attorneys offering free legal advice. This is an important step, but it is also a quick reminder of just how quickly community trust can erode when the lines between law enforcement and intimidation become blurred. Law enforcement agencies must conduct themselves in ways that build confidence, not fear. Identification is not optional. Accountability is not optional. Mask enforcement surely sends a message, but it's not the message a democracy ought to send. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
2517 Bayou Road, Chef Sherman Esteem. You're talking about great food, great conversations, and definitely great drinks. We sell hookahs and we rent them out. So if you want to have a nice time and smoke your nice hookah, come on down to Nano's Cajun Cuisine and Pastries and have a wonderful time. We will entertain you and we will treat you with happiness and joy. And by the way, on our first and third Saturdays, we always have a block party on Bayou Road. Come and check us out from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026, The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
When it comes to family planning, should you go with a will or a trust?
A will is like leaving instructions to the court. It tells them who gets what, but your family still has to go through a succession, which can be costly and time-consuming.
A trust, on the other hand, avoids court altogether. So when the time comes, everything transfers smoothly to your loved ones.
It's a little more work up front, but way less hassle and expense later. Plan smart, save time, and take care of your family.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
This is Oliver O.T. Thomas. Happy holidays to you and your entire family. Blessings this holiday season.
making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program here. It is Friday. All the folks in town headed to the Tulane game. Drive with care. We are expected to get some rain later on this evening, so I hope you are dressed warmly and be prepared for that weather coming. And she's here.
I'm here on the number 1 rated radio show on WBOK.
Say it again.
The number 1 rated radio show on WBOK.
There it is. And we still not on FM. There you go. Still not on FM. But it's all right.
And not being promoted. So we're going to promote ourselves.
There you
Let me
go.
say it one more time.
Huh?
The number 1 rated radio show on WBOK.
Not number 3.
No, not number 2.
Not number 2.
The number 1.
What?
Right.
There it is. There it is. There it is. All right, there
Promoting
we go.
ourselves.
WB.
Hey, what's going on, good people? Happy Friday.
Same to you, Doctor. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. So during the week when I witnessed the bombing or the strikes on the Venezuelan fishermen, so to speak, whatever you want to call it, I was wondering, did they have any implications with the Geneva Convention? Now, I know Geneva Convention have things to do with war crimes or how we manage war criminals or war hostages, prisoners of war. But does that act that the United States is pulling off on those people, does it have any implications with the Geneva Convention? I don't know both of y'all.
It probably does because they're classifying it as war crimes. That's what they keep calling it. So my question has been, in what policy do we call something a war crime, especially when you're talking about a country like the United States that's not at war?
Right. So if the reports are accurate that unarmed Venezuelan fishermen were fired upon or struck during maritime operations, this raises concerns under the international humanitarian law, including principles that are embedded in the Geneva Convention. Under the Geneva Convention, civilians are protected from attack, whether on land or at sea. So fishermen operating in civilian vessels are presumed to be non-combatants unless there is a clear, verifiable evidence that they are participating directly in hostilities. Here, our president is saying that he's targeting them because they're smuggling drugs into America. But there is no evidence of that to support his allegation. So a fishing boat is not a military target simply because it's present in contested waters. So to me, it appears that he is in violation of the Geneva Convention. But who is coming to tell him that?
All right, that was my insight. That was my first impulse that it was against the Geneva Convention. I really wasn't sure. But the other part was, I don't know if I heard this casually, but those boats didn't have enough gas to make it to the United States.
Right.
So, I heard somebody mention that they would have to have filled up a couple of times to be able to make it to the United States. So the claim that they were smuggling drugs to the United States and didn't have enough fuel to get here, I don't know. I don't know about. So anyway, I respect both of y'all's opinion, and y'all gave me very insightful, response. So appreciate y'all.
It also violates the San Remo Manual, by the way, which governs armed conflict at sea, and it also violates the Hague Convention, because fishermen have been considered protected persons under the Hague Convention. But then again, we can say the law, but who's going to stop him? That's the question.
So
who's going to stop him?
Who's responsible to respond to a violation of the Geneva Convention?
So to me, I think the U.S. senators could bring him before them to, ask him about these things. These are impeachable offenses. I think the UN could also call him in, and they could take action against him for violation of these international laws. Mm-hmm. But no one is doing that. They all seem to be afraid.
I wouldn't put any stock into the senators, but I would think that the UN would have some kind of upper hand
to at least say something, right?
Right, the UN definitely could do that. That's what the UN is supposed to be about. The UN Human Rights Council, okay, is the appropriate entity to raise this issue. The UN Human Rights Council, the International Criminal Court of War Crimes, regional bodies like the OAS, domestic courts under universal jurisdiction, congressional oversight, and inspectors general. All of those entities should be weighing in to address these war crimes, and none of them are doing so.
Right. I had one other comment before I hang up. The other day I had to go to Lowe's for something, right? And Gerard knows me. He's seen me before. I passed up Lowe's because I was just too afraid. I just kept going. I was like, no, I don't think so.
Go on, take that chance, man. Run in there, run out.
No, man, I'd rather go make me some tools.
You know what you do next time? Pull in the parking lot.
What's that?
Pull in the parking lot and get out your car, but don't cut the car off. Leave the door open and just start running. Just run around in the parking lot. See if somebody come chase you.
Set me up, boy. All right, folks. Thank y'all.
All right, bro. Talk to you in a minute.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes, indeed. Smith.
Hey, how you doing, G-Money?
Good. What's going on with you?
Just one question. Why they not over there by Tulane? I seen a whole lot of folks on TV just now. Why they not around St. Charles Avenue where Tulane University at?
What they look like?
They're not looking for those people.
I know that, and that's just my point. They're not looking for them people.
That's right, and that's the problem. I'm sure there are immigrants who look like them, but they're not looking for them. They're only looking for people of color.
Right.
You know,
right.
And that's what makes it unfair. I think if I saw it being universally applied, then I may not have this criticism. But at the point that you are targeting just people who are brown and black, I have a problem.
A big problem. I watched the news early this morning. This white lady from Florida, she was screaming at Timbuktu. I'm a U.S. citizen. They still put her in the car.
Right. You know, ridiculous. It's not fair. The way it's being done is not fair.
Right.
But, this is the way this administration operates.
Right. I think you said it a few minutes ago. There's not one person with a backbone that's going to tell him something.
Right. A
bunch of folding chairs. That's all. Thank you for taking my call, G.
All right. Thank you, brother. Yes, indeed. So, I think we all heard from the time that we've been on the air to now, the outrage.
Right.
What's the steps and solution?
Look, we've taken it full circle. We've talked about the inhumanity of the immigration enforcement in New Orleans. We've talked about the inequality of the immigration enforcement in New Orleans. We've also talked about opportunity created in crisis for Black people who want to start businesses, who want to go get some of these jobs that the immigrants can't handle right now because of their fear of ICE. And we've talked about Project 2025 I'm trying to let you know, you are next. And as one caller said, we've never not been a target.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but now it's overt. Now it's very, very, very overt. So, there's a lot going on. And I just want people to be safe. I reiterate that people need to carry ID on them. If you have a passport card, you do need to be carrying it right now. You need to have your birth certificates of your kids, copies of those in your vehicle. Because they're just pulling people out of cars now.
Breaking your windows.
And it's just an unsafe situation. And we want you to be safe.
Yeah. All right. Cedric.
Hello. How are you?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
I think about a month ago when Dr. Shepard and I, when we had the conversation, is it our fight or not? This is when Dr. Shepard and I were telling you pretty much what Counselor is saying, that it may not have been directly our problem, but indirectly it will become our problem because we're next. Actually, we've always been their targets. And with the way this government is going and not following the Constitution, They're just bogarting their way. You know, that's the appropriate word. And if we don't be careful, we can find ourselves in 2026, perhaps, back on a modern day plantation. So, in my opinion, we should be galvanizing together while other folk are fighting themselves.
When power goes unchecked anywhere, it becomes a threat everywhere. And, you know, as we can see, there's a clear agenda. It's written forth in Project 2025. It's being implemented. We're being targeted. We're coming up next. And in some instances, you know, black people are being targeted now because they think they look Haitian or they think they look Dominican or whatever.
I'd say that if I could just add this right quickly, the elephant in the room, the people that can make a difference here in New Orleans are that pleasure and social aid club, because they are the people that have their boots on the ground. Nobody's targeting them. But if we can wake that crowd up, motivate that crowd, then New Orleans can change for the better for us. Y'all have a great weekend.
Wait, why do you think that one? What do you think they can do?
I believe that is the crowd that has become disengaged. My vote doesn't matter, or no matter what I do, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, so I'm not gonna vote. I just believe spiritually that's the elephant in the room that can change the dynamics here in the city of New Orleans.
Well, I gotta tell you,
nobody's saying nothing bad about them.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm their general counsel. Okay, me and my husband. And so I spent a lot of time over there on Broad Street. And I can tell you that membership is very civilly engaged. A lot of the judges, the black male judges who are sitting on the bench right now are members of that club. A lot of the black politicians are members of that club. And they aren't just, don't have names on rosters. They're there all the time. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, Zulu hosted a Louisiana nonprofit organization convention in the Glapion building, understanding the need for nonprofits to be able to find fundraising to do community engagement. So they're doing things. They don't always publicize what they're doing, but they're doing
Counselor,
things.
No way was I talking about the Zulu Social and Pleasure Club.
Oh, okay.
Now you're talking about the crowd. You're talking about the crowds.
Right. Once again, if we can get that crowd motivated and the people that they represent,
right?
I believe we will change. We will change our plight into our flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we need to, so because whether we want it or not, and as you stated, whether we think this is our fight or not, we're already in it.
Right.
And our awareness, our advocacy, and our solidarity matter.
Just think, though, for a minute, said if we had a crowd that showed up for that second line that just passed this, last weekend? To protest the fact that ICE was here.
You're right about that. I mean, I think that they can call their supporting community to action. Now, they have to be careful with that because Zulu is a 501c3 organization. And political action is not supposed to be a part of a 501c3. You can lose your 501c3 status. But the individual members can utilize their influence to spur people to action. And history has taught us that when something starts over there, it always ends up right in our lap. So, we do need to utilize our voices right now. We can't be invisible.
I tell you, I wouldn't mind helping if I could, if we could get all presidents of all social aid and pleasure clubs in the city of New Orleans together to talk about issues that's pertinent to us and our children. I believe that will start the shift that we need.
Well, I will be happy to pass that on to the president of Zulu, Oscar Rainey, and see if he would be willing to host a roundtable discussion.
Wow, and thank you. I'll hang up and listen.
No problem.
All right, Sid.
Have a great weekend.
Take it easy. So Oscar's the new president?
Yes, he is.
Oh, cool.
He's doing a great job.
Congratulations. I know that's in his heart.
It is.
And,
his dad, long-standing, revered member of the organization.
And King.
So it's great to see him step into those shoes. Cool. And his wife just happens to be one of the founding members of Femme Fatale.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, they do, they are a Mardi Gras tradition family. Speaking of which, I want to say this.
And Gwen, too.
Yes.
Gwen.
Young Men Illinois Club is celebrating their 100th year in existence.
You know what? Before you go, I was going to talk to you about something, but I'm going to talk to you about it publicly. Because I criticized that thing so bad. I know. And you were like, you're going to go. You're going to go that year. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. And you're going to go. And you better do this and you better do that. And yada, yada, yada. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm not going to this thing.
And you enjoyed yourself.
And I figured it out as I'm sitting there, what that really meant to those young ladies, that those men were escorting those ladies for their first dance, their first waltz, and making them feel like they were the queen of the island. And I was like, okay.
Now you get it.
I get it.
And, for 100 years they have been doing this. The Presbyterian is going to be hosting an exhibit geared to the Young Men Illinois Club and its 100-year anniversary. My daughters are participating as a royal family, as they've donated some of the items they wore as queens. And the Presbyterian has a beautiful write-up that they're mailing out to households talking about the royal families of the Young Men Illinois Club, and our family happens to be one of them.
And you know what I was going to do, too? I don't know if I could without the participation previously. But if one of the young ladies needed an escort or something of that sort, I was going to tell you, I'd do it. I would do it because that wasn't. Just to do the waltz and I think that's about all that I could do, the waltz and the escort and stuff like that. For 9 months that they had to go through the teas and all that, I can't do that.
Well, it's a great cause, So I do want to say that, and I want to give a congratulations to my daughter Jessica. Her wedding shower is tomorrow. And a congratulations to my baby girl, Lauren, who just found out she is having a baby boy.
Ooh, I guess it too. Did we win something?
No, you don't win anything. But she got it right in the poll that it was a boy. So we will be welcoming Christian Laurent White to the world in April.
Christian, I'm your boy. I'm Uncle G. Uncle G in the building. More coming up, y'all. Hold on.
AURN News.
Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley is expected to face tough questions on Capitol Hill today as lawmakers dig into a deadly double tap strike on a suspected drug-running boat in the Caribbean. Bradley, a longtime special operations commander, ordered the mission that first blew apart the vessel and then hit the wreckage again, killing survivors who were still in the water. Democrats and Republicans alike want to know why those survivors were treated as targets instead of detainees, and whether the operation crossed the line from a counter-narcotics mission into a possible war crime. The Trump administration insists Bradley acted within his authority and says the boat was tied to narco-terror networks. Bradley is expected to show video of the strike. Human rights advocates argue the United States cannot claim the moral high ground while striking wounded people who don't pose a threat. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
Missed a show? Want to hear that guest everyone's talking about? WBOK is now streaming on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search WBOK Media, hit download, share with a friend, and don't forget to rate your favorite shows 5 stars. Because when our voices are heard, our impact grows.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor. We're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mike. Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Did you hear the news? Dr. Clark's 101 The Living Classroom has a new time. Catch us now every Wednesday at noon. Same program, same great conversations. Just a new time. So catch Dr. Clark's 101 The Living Classroom this Wednesday and every Wednesday only on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
This is Eddie Francis. Happy holidays to you and yours. Don't eat too much, just enough.
I'm Wendell Pierce. Thanks for making WBOK your station. WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks.
Welcome back to the #1 radio show on WBOK.
What you
the
say?
#1 radio show on WBOK, not the number 2,
not the
number
number
3, the #1 radio show on WBOK.
What you said?
And not on FM. If you'd like to hear us on FM, we really would appreciate you, coming on the Facebook page and letting people know that you'd like to hear this show on the FM station.
Or call the station and tell them.
Or call the station and tell them. We would appreciate that.
George!
Man, how y'all doing down there, bro?
Yes, indeed.
We are doing well. We are blessed and highly favored.
I know that is. I did like to say before we go into my part, I like that little segue y'all had there with the 100 years and the fathers and the daughters and the pageantry of our life, that there is pageantry in our life.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. And congratulations on the new grandbaby.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Baby's coming in April.
I know you can't wait to start training all of them future lawyers. I know, and doctors. I know. Attorney extraordinaire Suzanne McNaris, yourself, your eye.
Yes, indeed. He picked it up.
I'm trying.
Yeah. And Gerod G-Man Stevens, I got to tell you, bro. Every time I sign on Facebook, right, the way y'all new layout is, there's a comment at the top that you can give to the radio station, and I'm suggesting that all these people who be coming on Facebook start leaving your comment. Why ain't we on 107.1? God dang it. We #1.
Good comment.
Great comment. And we would really appreciate that, because we don't understand it. I mean, how can you have the #1 radio show and not be on the FM station?
And not be on where you can really shake things up. That's what they're scared of. I can't believe your ownership is scared of you, Gerod G-Man Stevens.
I can.
Look, I mean, we're talking about things that really matter, topics that don't get talked about anywhere else. Topics that are informative. And I think that, putting G on the FM station is a no-brainer so he could reach more people.
Either that or they scared. I can't believe I can say that at the same tone and voice. They scared. What are y'all scared of?
Well, tell a friend, tell someone. Please put it on the website. We would appreciate it. Gerod has been doing this for decades. He deserves it. You know, he's really dedicated to it, and I'd like to see that happen for him.
One of the true anchors of WBOKism.
Absolutely.
True. All right, so here's my last little piece of conversation, right? I got actually two, but I can't remember the name that the Trump guy just gave a pardon to, and he a president of another country who was ousted out of his presidency because he, was caught importing 400 tons of cocaine into America. That's the guy who's in leadership, but that ain't the way I wanted to go. The way I wanted to go back to was part of the conversation from earlier. Okay, it's been a year for all you people who wanted to wait and see. Now, we done had a year to wait and see. We see now it ain't a question of waiting. I just wanted to say, do y'all want to wait 3 more years to figure out if we got to take action? That was it.
Well, it's a great point. I mean, we talked about it 2 years before it even happened. We talked about Project 2025 and what it was going to do 2 years before the election, thinking that we were informing people and arming them with the information they needed to be politically aware, politically active, and make the right choices in the election. Some of us decided to stay home, and this is what we ended up with. So, for the past year, the country's been in a holding pattern. We've been watching, listening, and bracing to see whether Project 2025 would actually be implemented. And it is being implemented on the streets of New Orleans as we speak.
What is it? All right, I got one thing left before we get off the air. If I ain't listening to Gerard G-Man Stevens on WBOK, #1 radio station, #1 radio show with attorney extraordinaire, the Suzanne Bagnaris, and my man Wick on the backboard, I'm going to miss out on them black facts I need to know.
I just need you to know I just put my ice hat back on. So, goodbye.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Always in a good conversation. Got to do it more often. Here somewhere. There you go. The attorney extraordinaire, y'all. Suzette Bagnaris. I don't know why I said Susan. Suzette Bagnaris. Y'all be careful. And
please be careful.
Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you later.